Welcome back to Sex, Drugs, and Sound Bowls. I'm Jessie Siren, and tonight we're going to be talking about rock bottom. There are a million reasons that I've been giving myself to not do this podcast tonight because Matt's out of town and I held space for an hour-long tantrum that included being bitten and punched and metal stools thrown across the room, and I'm just tired and this feels tender. Then I was like, that's the point of all this, is to share in the middle of the mess, is to share from those tender spots. Rock bottom. So I follow the law of time, or the Mayan calendar for the new year, for the year, but I still think there's something really valuable for me about seeding intentions here in the rich and velvety darkness of the cold winter. And so early January, Matt and I sat down and we just reflected and journaled and meditated and tried to come up with an intention to weave into our sacred union and into our family life. And when we pulled back and looked at our life and the abundance and the prosperity and the health and the connection that we have grown into and expanded into over the 10 years we've spent together, the one area of our life that felt wanting was finances. And it felt kind of vapid or superficial or just not right when I sat down and explored how having, financial abundance be my intention for the year. And when I sat with the word, it just felt so hard and rigid and masculine, and it felt mental to me. And so we didn't write an intention down, and we waited and we came back together after a few days, and we did a journey together to meet the spirit of 2025. And I share about this in another podcast, but the spirit that revealed itself to me was the spirit of playfulness. And as I gave a gift to this benevolent spirit in gratitude, it transformed before my very imaginal eyes into a powerful and majestic seraphim. And when I asked, how do I weave the wisdom of this playfulness into my day-to-day, the seraphim responded, how did I respond when you gave me the star? And I said, you transformed into a seraphim, and it was waves of gratitude pouring from you. And they said, how many stars and mountains and rivers and sunrises and sunsets, how many deep loves and deep lessons and hugs and kisses have been gifted to you. And the message was that gratitude is the gateway. It's the gateway to joy. It's the gateway to playfulness. It's the gateway to divinity, to God, and that it is not circumstantial, right? It's not hinging on the moment. Joy and gratitude are kindred in that they are like these ever-flowing currents that run underneath every moment. The message was that to be alive is the gift. That every moment is an initiation, whether it's through pain or joy, into greater self-expression, embodiment, connection. And so even through trial, if we hold this remembering in our hearts and in our minds, we can find that joy, that ever-flowing current of joy and of gratitude. And so in the weeks that followed, I wrote myself some affirmations and pasted them on the bathroom mirror. And every time I saw myself in the mirror, I would look myself in the eyes and exuberantly state, like, whatever the list, but all my dreams are becoming a reality. And I remember the first time I exclaimed this like so loudly. I homeschool Indy and he was the only one home. And from the other room, he said, "What did you say, Mom?" And he comes running into the bathroom. I'm like, "All my dreams are becoming a reality." He's like, "This is amazing, Mom. What dreams are becoming a reality?" And then I fumbled and bumbled, and I was like, "Look at this beautiful river cottage and my beautiful children, and I get to be with you all day and homeschool you, and the chickens and the cat and the love of my life, and this bus we're building." And as I started to pour out to the sweet son of mine, I started to really feel it. Fast forward about 7 days of me saying these affirmations, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 times a day. I hear him yelling from the other room, "Mom, stop that. How would you feel if you were living with someone who was always like, 'All my dreams are becoming a reality'?" To his benefit, there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. So I started playing with the idea of financial liberation or prosperity and abundance. If I had financial abundance, what would that give me? Well, if I was financially stable and prosperous, then I could kick off my shoes and just have a good time. I could be generous. I'd be so grateful. I could just play with my kiddos, with the love of my life, with my cat and my chickens. And so in the weeks that followed, I really stepped into embodying this energy of playfulness, of gratitude, of generosity. And I saw in the most magical and marvelous ways any generosity that I extended come back to me in waves. And then in the span of about 3 days, I sat down to look at our finances, balance our books in a sinking heart. A lot of zeros, a lot of negatives. And then the Forerunner broke down and we couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. And so I was driving Matt's truck, and then the truck broke down in the Costco parking lot, and I had to flag someone down to come and save me. And my heart sunk a little more, and I tried to rally, and then I drove Matt's truck to run another errand a couple evenings ago, and it broke down again. It died again, and so I had to flag someone down again. And when I got home, I just felt beat up. I just felt a little hopeless, a lot helpless. And I tried to go to Matt. I was like, all of these things, the cars, our credit cards, our bank account, what has gone wrong here? And to his benefit, I'm typically the silver lining girl, the visionary, the one who can find the good in anything. It's just, in this moment, I couldn't see it. And he said, "Yeah, money sucks." And so I stormed out and went to play with Nico in his playroom, and by divine timing and grace. Grace unfolding in every moment, my parents showed up. And I took one look at my mom as she walked through the door, and I just burst into tears, and I felt all of the defensiveness and anger and rage and control that I've been trying to hold on to fall away. And I just sobbed and sobbed, and she came over to me and she hugged me tight. And my dad crouched down, everyone gathered around me, and I just felt it all. I felt the waves of helplessness, of grief, of longing, of desire, unfulfilled desire. I felt it all, of being out of control. And then I just vented, I just poured out, I know that there's good here. I know what we've done. We've made a calculated decision, an educated decision to take a year off work, to build the bus, to go into debt for this, because we have a tiny home that can be 100% off grid to show for it, because we have this riverfront bus property that we bought. We bought Matt's truck for cash. We've spent so much time together. We spend all of our time together. Matt works 1 or 2 days a week right now away from me and the kids. I know we've chosen this life, and I know there's so many gifts. Look at this house and But still it feels like it's all tinged with lack. We have the bus and we have the credit card debt. We have time together, but we have $0 in our bank account. And I know that I could go out and I could publish the book I've been working on, and I could run more Wild Women's courses, and I could host more retreats, and I could hold more space, and I could run workshops and teach classes. I know I could do these things because I have and I've seen them be fruitful, but I have spent my whole life following my heart, and it has never steered me wrong. And right now there's just nothing. There's no inspiration, there's no direction, there's nothing. Just the blaring zero in my bank account. And this nagging fear in my gut. See, I could do those things, but I know from experience that they would rip me apart, because all I really want to do, what my heart wants, is just to be with my babies, to be with Matt, to take care of them and love them and laugh with them and explore with them. That's all I want to do. Even now, as I reflect, there's just more awareness coming through. And they held me and they listened. And as they listened and reflected their own wisdom, my mom just validating and anchoring in and holding me, having experienced a lot of the same. Raising 8 children, trying to run a business. My dad gave me a really beautiful metaphor, and he said, there are times of pioneering and there are times of rest. And you guys have been pioneering, you've been pioneering so hard. And now it's time to rest. I had done a little card reading for myself the night before. And one of the cards I had drawn was about enjoying, soaking in this time of follow, of deep rest, of winter. And as he spoke the words, pioneering, times for pioneering and times for rest, I was reminded. When my mother spoke of beauty and new life that come from even the devastation of wildfires, where old growth in forests is burned down, where the soil is deeply nourished through that process, that alchemical process, through the burning down of the old, the spaciousness for the new that opens up. And as I sat there with them, I reflected on how in every junction, powerful transition in my life, where I felt deeply changed, there was a rock bottom. I used to struggle with dermatillomania, trichotillomania. I would pick my skin. I'd spend 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day just picking on nothing. And I remember feeling so crazy and out of control. I wished, I prayed someone would just send me to an insane asylum. I felt suicidal. I wanted just to end. I felt so out of control. I remember my mom telling me when I was 20 that I looked like a 40-year-old woman. I remember my sister telling me I looked like a meth addict, and still I couldn't stop. I did the Wim Hof, I did breath work, I did yoga, I did meditation, I did therapy. Why couldn't I stop? It was like this push, try, mental, try to get my way out of it. And then finally coming to this place where I just couldn't bear it anymore. And I knew I had no control. I couldn't work my way out of this one. It's it's like life just KO'd me, and I'm in this moment of epic surrender. The energy of life can finally flow through me. Energy of source, of God, of love, of life can finally flow through me, and then I was changed. And I don't struggle with those things like I did. They're not gone, right? But where I used to pick on my skin, I don't know, 30 hours a week. Now it's a few times a year. I used to pull my hair out till there was bald spots or all my eyebrows out. I don't do that at all anymore. And then there was my physical health. Even as like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, feeling so tight and stuck and rigid in my body, so contracted, pain. I remember at the bar that I worked at, a man came in and he said, "Why do you walk like you're stomping on the faces of people you hate?" He said, "Come to yoga." And so I did. And then, again, the mentaling, the trying, the efforting, the sadhanas, asanas, the salutations, the postures, the practices, all the things to try to control my body, fix my body. Until in my early 20s, I was teaching yoga. I was so sick. My gut was so sick and wrecked. God, even I was working at raw food restaurants and I was trying all the food manipulation. I was vegetarian for 8 years and then vegan for a year and then raw foodist. And I had kidney stones and stomach pain and on this day I was about to go in to teach a class and my stomach was so huge, like bloated, painfully bloated and swollen that I looked 3 months pregnant and I couldn't even bend over to touch my toes. Rock bottom. I can't do this anymore. And the fucking flop. KO. And the energy of life flows through me. And I'm changed. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you. There's not like a trick or a life hack to stop picking, to stop hurting, to stop suffering. It's like I had this vision of childbirth 3 times. There's a moment right before the baby comes where it's impossible. I can't do this. No, I definitely can't do this time. Okay, like somebody push it back in, somebody cut it out of me. I can't do it. Complete loss of control, complete surrender, KO. And a few minutes later, I'm holding a beautiful new life in my arms. And so as I sat there with my parents, I was just reflecting on all of these moments with Matt. Just struggling for intimacy, for connection, for safety, for sexual liberation, but feeling so trapped in my body. I couldn't be touched, I couldn't be kissed, I couldn't have his hand on my thigh or his nose too close to me or his lips or I couldn't have any of it. And I wanted it so bad. And I tried all the things. EMDR, talk therapy, IFS, psychedelic. I still couldn't fix it. Couldn't fix myself. Until there's a moment, it's so intense, I can't bear it anymore. And then all of a sudden, I'm on the other side. And I'm having the best sex of my life. And I can't get enough of his hands and his lips and his breath all over me. And there's a few things, part of me is like, maybe we can't rush the process. Maybe things just take as long as they take. And the other side of me is like, maybe they take so long because we're trying so hard. When really life just needs an open channel to keep moving. And so all of that is to say, is I had this kind of feeling, this vision, this knowing that this moment here, this financial rock bottom, for me, for us, for our family, it actually made me smile and makes me smile now and get a little excited that this rock bottom, God, and there's a million more. My spaghetti brain went to a million different moments. This rock bottom is just life knocking me out. Stop trying to figure out. Stop trying to win the lottery. Stop trying to write a million books and plan a million courses and ignore your heart's calling. Just sit down. Oh, because even in this time of fallow, I have not been resting. I have been trying to mental my way out and figure out how do I end, how do I fix it? I'm broken, I've got to fix it. And I feel like a few nights ago, sitting on that floor with my parents, my husband, and everybody there around me, I just feel like I got like, okay, life and death are just two sides to the same doorway. The bird fights its way out of the egg. The egg is the world. He who would be born must first destroy a world. Herman Hesse. Another way to say that is, I remember reading this Buddhist quote years ago, and the Buddhist quote goes something like, bear all until you no longer can, and then change something. And I have literally reflected on this. This has been playing in the back of my mind for probably 10 years. And I've always thought, God, this guy's supposed to be the Buddha. I don't like that. That's terrible advice. Let's not bear everything until we no longer can, and then change and then change it. Let's not wait that long. And only through this process, right, in my own life, my own experience, am I slowly discovering that I think that this was less advice giving and more just observation. And that pain is actually a gift. Because there are billions of bits of information swirling around us all day, every day, everything calling to our attention. And we can't possibly be fixing all the things all the time. If we think of our consciousness like a house, you can't every day be scrubbing the baseboards, washing the walls, mopping the floors, vacuuming, sweeping, cleaning the toilet and the bath, dusting the TV. You can't be doing all of those things every day. There just isn't enough time. And so we wait, right? We wait until we notice the walls are looking a little grubby. The baseboards are looking a little rough. The toilet stinks. We wait until the pain. And that pain directs our attention towards the thing that needs something. And so I feel I'm getting this message that is so much of what pain is for our bodies. It's a gift to direct us towards the parts of ourselves that need attention. So we don't have to worry. We don't have to be scanning every part of our mind, body, heart, spirit every day to try to find parts to work on. Like, the parts that need working on will reveal themselves to us. Isn't that amazing? It feels so spacious to me and so liberating to me, and also, again, tuning into the frequency of gratitude, a gateway to joy, to playfulness, to liberation. I'm feeling that right now, right? I'm like, thank you for my pain, because it's showing me so that I don't have to try so hard to figure out what's next. It's showing me what's next. It's revealing to me the very thing. So I don't have to seek. I just have to be willing to see and not push it down and not ignore it. I also have to be willing to just open myself and feel it, to allow Another way life is holding up the mirror for me is with my son. One of my sons has these epic meltdowns, I don't know, a couple times a month, a few times a month. And I noticed I was always trying to end them. I knew they would be long, an hour, sometimes more. And I was always trying to like make him laugh, to snap him out of it, to, to get him out of his suffering. But even as I sit here reflecting on that now, I know whenever you feel the energy of someone wanting you to be different than you are, the discord, the disharmony that creates in your own energetic field, the suffering that frequency feeds. Oh, it feeds the beast. And I read somewhere once that in this society we talk so much about how love, it just grows. Like, you never run out. There's just always room for more and more and more love. You have one kid and you love that kid, and you have a second kid and there's just more love for that kid, not less. It's not like dividing a pie, it just grows. But we don't have conversations around grief and pain and rage in the same spirit. Like, there's room enough for you in this world to have as much grief, as much anger, as much fear as you need to have. And so we learn from a really young age that there's not enough room for those parts of us, and we stifle them and we hold them in and down. So as I noticed myself doing this to my son during his meltdowns, right? Like trying to make it end. I didn't tonight, by the way. I let it flow. I was probably prolonging the process by not just allowing this expression of the energy of life to have its fullest and most embodied experience. And as I see myself doing that with him, of course I'm doing that with myself, right? So all of this is to say is, yes, I'm at a kind of rock bottom. We in the Siren household are at a kind of rock bottom, but there's so much sweetness in it. And I am so grateful. Oh my God, I'm so grateful. Oh my God. For the wisdom and the guidance, for the time and the energy that I have to connect, to receive, and to honor the wisdom and the teaching that I receive. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. And the next morning, after my parents left, we were sitting at breakfast and Indy's looking at me, eating his Dutch babies. I heard you last night. I'm like, what did you hear? I heard you. And he's smiling. I heard you say you just want to be a good mom to us and you just want to be with us. And he's smiling. It wrecked me. It's wrecking me now. Like, who wrote that story? That it's not enough to give our gifts, our time, our energy, our love to these tiny, precious humans. Why do they have to be for the world? Why do they have to be for money, or for likes, or for fame? Something deep inside of me knows that the greatest gift I can give the world is to love and honor myself, to follow my heart's calling. And right now, even though I'm stubborn as hell and I want it to be something more inspired and artistic and dramatic, my heart just wants to be home. Baking bread, reading stories, snuggling, playing games, laughing, having dancing parties. Anyway, thank you for being here at the rock bottom with me. If you are going through something, if you somewhere in your life, in your mind, your heart, your spirit, your body are feeling and experiencing a rock bottom, know that I'm there with you, holding your hand, reminding you, as I hope that you'll remind me, to come back to the ever-flowing current of joy and gratitude. Even under the suffering, even under the trials and the tribulations, can we remember, these are an initiation, a cultivating, conditioning, preparing us to be the highest, most exalted versions of ourselves in this life. Remember, your story, your healing, they matter more than you know. And every act of self-love, no matter how small, carries, echoes, ripples, a frequency, a vibration of authenticity. And this authentic love, this is the energy that can't help but change everything and everyone it comes into contact with. Love yourself, change the world. And don't forget to have a little giggle along the way. Be well.